Hello everyone, thank you for joining today again. Congratulations to you. You have taken a big step today. You have done something that many people have not done. And I want to tell you something today. I'm going to share with you 3 things that I learned from Hurricane Florence. But prior to that, if it's your first time joining me in this live, it's your first time ever being in a live before, and you don't know me, and I don't know you, the first thing you have to do, please introduce yourself down below. Just put the state where you are, the country where you are, the continent where you are. I introduce myself. Thank you, Sir Jose, for joining. My name is Mr. Adrien Feujdio. You're a charismatic leader, thought leader, charismatic, whatever you call it. I want to tell you that today I'm someone who is very excited to be here, active and alive, sound, and ready to provide you with something that you may never have thought about, something you may not have thought about that could actually have some value in your life. It's a nugget of inspiration that I got from the hurricane that came just this week, that I could have seen my life just pass away just like that. And you may not have had a Facebook Live this Sunday if I was not alive. But if you are here today, please down below, just write down where you're from. Ohio, Florida, or probably from Texas. And why not Europe, 237 Cameroon, or why not China, Brazil, Australia. Wherever you're from, please down below so I can know where you're from. I can be able to tell you hi, hello. Another way of push that away in introductions so we know ourselves. Marlene, thank you very much for coming. Hey, Marlene, how are you doing today? Every other person who is here, chapeau. This is another Sunday, but it's a Sunday not like others. Moyota Simo, thank you for joining us today. This is a VIP. This guy always comes all the time. This is what I call co-pilots. Oh yeah, Marlene. Root Shooter as well is here. Don Bertolucci is here. Loveline Ojoel is here. Marlene is here. Woma is here. Jose Prime. Seth Cornelius. I want to believe it is the right time for me to get started. If you came here for the French version, please come back in an hour now. 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. French, Français, 4, Français. But now it's 3 p.m. So it's Anglais tout juste. Alright, I'm happy to know that you're doing good, Marlene. I'm trying to make sure that this is a little bit short because I do understand that you have many other things to do, and I said I do too. In fact, I have a show I have to go and watch right now on Netflix. Yeah, I go live too. I have a live. I have things to do. But something I came here to share with you is something that I have dear at heart. Something that is fresh and sound. Something that not everybody has gone through. Some people have gone through and they were able to make it through. Some people have gone through and they were not able to make it through. And you understand what I'm talking about. If you're not aware, just this week, in fact, let me start with Sunday. There's a hurricane that was announced by the National Weather Center, NWC. Last Sunday, they had mentioned that a hurricane was called Hurricane Florence. And that particular hurricane was supposed to hit South Carolina. And you can imagine how people feel when they're at the north. Like, it's not me now, it's you. I figure it out on your own. And we're all chill. I'm in North Carolina, so I'm like, leave that thing. That's for them. They'll figure it out. I didn't give it beep. Yep, I didn't. And then on Monday, they gave another report saying that Hurricane Florence has changed her mind. She's not going to South Carolina anymore. She's coming to North Carolina. And that is the moment where our hearts start beating when it involves us, when it involves the people that we are dear, that are dear to our hearts. When we are not the people in the place of that particular situation, that's when we start feeling the pain. That's when we start caring. That's when we start learning things. I'm going to share with you 3 things that I learned. Because when on that Monday they announced that it was coming to North Carolina, then I started following up. I said, oh my goodness, let me check this thing online because I need to see if it's going to hit me or not. I could die. And there's no greater feeling than the feeling that you may die one day. In fact, that you may die today. Because by Wednesday, when I was having a meeting at work, they told me, hey, by the way, Adrien, we don't know how it's going to go on your side, but we just want to let you know. We do care about you, but don't better come to work, okay? be safe. And that's when I started realizing how serious it was. If at work they can start telling you that you should not come to work on Thursday and on Friday because Florence is coming to hit at your door, then there's something going on. It could be something for real. But Florence, even though she came and she went through, and I was able to go through with her, I learned 3 things from her. And I will share with you those things. The number 1 thing that I learned from her was that fear can fuel your life. Can someone write it down below, please? I would sincerely appreciate that. And for those of you who don't have the ability to type, maybe you're riding the car, just say this with me. Fear can fuel my life. I'll repeat it one more time. If you didn't catch it the first time, let me say this again. Fear can fuel my life. Yes. Immediately as we decided that as on Wednesday we were told that Florence was coming on our end, I said, let me go and buy some things. But I have no idea about buying things. People started texting me, hey, I hope you bought some water, you bought some food, you bought some things to be able to get ready. And that's the moment where I said, oh my goodness, I need to go to the store. Thank you for sharing my line. I need to go to the store. And now once I decided to go, I'm rushing about riding so fast. I'm like, man, I need to go to that store. I decided to go to the store, and to my greatest surprise, the stores were all empty. I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? All the shelves for water were empty. And that's the moment I realized what happened. And that's when I started hearing stories about people working about 6 o'clock in the morning to go and buy water. People working about 5 o'clock in the morning. People going at odd times just to make sure they can survive. And that's when I realized something. That's when I realized that when we have that feeling that we may die, when we have that feeling that we may fail, when we have that feeling that we may lose something that we hold dear at our hearts, that is the turning point in our life. That is the moment where we tend to realize that, hey, I need to get my life together. And I can guarantee you there are people who contacted me, Adrien. I don't know how it's going on over there, but I want to let you know. You have inspired me. I'm like, wait a minute, excuse me. So you want to tell me that all this while, you had to wait until I want to die before you tell me I inspired you? Yes. People will wait until you die. Sometimes even they have to wait until you actually die before they fuel your life. So I'm now telling you that, hey, if you ever reach close to failure, to a disappointment, to a breakup, even to death, any person who has gotten close to these situations has never come back the same. Has never come back the same. And I want to share with you something very particular, something I haven't shared with anyone. And it has to do with a breakup. The first time I ever went through a breakup, I can guarantee you, it was the end of my world. Not as though the person broke up, but I did. And when you actually take the decision to break up with someone, your heart also breaks up. And that was a turning point in my life, because that is the moment where I said to myself, I don't want to go through a breakup anymore. If you've ever gone through a breakup, then you understand what I'm talking about. If you've ever failed a class, like I gave you a story about my economics instructor whom I stood up in class and I said, sir, I have the answer. And then I stood up and I gave him the answer. And I thought it was the right answer, but it was a completely wrong answer. He told me, Adrien, sit down. You're completely wrong. I never wanted to go through that failure again in my life. And Florence came. And it was near death, eh? And because I got close to near death, what had happened in my life is that I said to myself, I don't want to speak to anyone. Because sometimes when you see death coming close to your door, knocking at your door and saying, hey, Adrien, can we speak a little bit? That's the moment when you realize that you are vulnerable. And no one wants to feel vulnerable. And I want to tell you that, hey, sometimes that moment of vulnerability can fuel your life. Because it was in that moment of vulnerability that I got calls from the people who cared the most. And that's where that fear that I had of Florence, of failure, of the breakup, those people, those co-pilots will appear in your life in those moments when you think you can't do anything else. And someone called me. And they said, Adrien, I know you're going to do it. You'll survive. The person started sending me information about things that were happening in Hurricane Florence. I was like, wait a minute. I didn't even know about this. The person like, no, actually Hurricane Florence, she has changed her mind. She's not going to North Carolina anymore. She's going to South Carolina. In fact, she's in category 1 now. She was in category 3. In fact, I think you'll be better now. I was like, wow. I was near death. And that's the moment where I realized that some people are more reassuring than taking advantage of our vulnerability. In that moment where I failed in my economics class, that moment was a moment where a friend of mine actually came because everyone was laughing. But there was always that one person who will come after you and tell you, Adrien, you had messed up here because of so and so. He wasn't trying to make a mockery of you. He was simply trying to boost your morale, understand you that you were becoming filled with pride and you had to be humbled. In that moment of a breakup, there's a moment where someone called me and told me, hey, people are not perfect. Sometimes they will mess up, but you could give them another chance. And yes, I did. So what are you going through right now? I want to remind you again, point number 1 that I got from Florence is I learned this thing. That fear can fuel your life. Sometimes being vulnerable is the best thing ever. Sometimes being vulnerable can enable you to become better. Sometimes being vulnerable can enable you to succeed because you have failed and you have learned from it. And it can enable you to identify your co-pilots. But that wasn't the only thing. As you may have noticed, I told you about co-pilots because it's during Hurricane Florence that the co-pilots came to life. And then I tend to realize that it's the moment, when the moments are too hard, when life becomes difficult, when life pushes you to the wall and you don't seem like you can survive, like you're like, man, I'm done. When you're trying to give up, you're like, whoop, I'm done, gone. That is the moment where your co-pilots appear. I mean the right ones, not the fake ones. That's when the right co-pilots. The point number 2 that I learned is that people care more about you than you care about yourself, especially the co-pilots. I'll repeat this again and please someone write it down below. People, your co-pilots, care more about you than you care about yourself. And yes, they do. And I had to learn it the hard way. Why? On WhatsApp, a friend of mine who was not even in this state, I've never seen before, sent me a very good video about Florence. And about the fact that actually in North Carolina there was a state of emergency. I was not even aware. Guys, I don't watch TV. So I'm like, why should this person actually send me a video of the governor announcing a state of emergency and calling Florence a monster? And then I had another person send me an image saying that, hey, it seems like Florence is not coming towards North Carolina per se. In fact, where are you precisely? I said, Chapel Hill. Okay, yes. I noticed that it was going to turn towards Charlotte and it wasn't going to touch Chapel Hill. I think you should be safe. I pray you are. And I had well wishers from all over the place. And I was like, wait a minute. What in the world? If I die, I die. I didn't care that much about myself because at the end of the day, usually we care more about other people than we care about ourselves. And the reason why I think about it is because there's just no way I can miss a Facebook Live. But there's so many assignments I haven't done. And this Facebook Live is not even for me, it's for you. And that's the moment that I realized some people actually The reason why they care more about you than they care about themselves, because they see more of you than they see themselves. So when you're around people whom you can call a co-pilot, care more about them and show them that you are thankful. Show them that you are grateful. In fact, I'm talking to you right now. I need to take down this information because I need to call those people that I call co-pilots. I need to be grateful to them because sometimes we are not. And the worst part is when you're coming from an African descent, there's a likelihood that you just take it for granted. And what happens is that those co-pilots, they die out. They get tired of it. They're like, no, come on, I've been helping this guy out every time I call to check on him. It seems like he's just taking it for granted. And that's what happens. And then some of those people with whom they actually called us when we were breaking up. They actually called us when we were failing. They actually called us when we were near death. They actually called us when we were going through a hard time. We lost someone in our lives and they called us. But we didn't care about calling them back to tell them, thank you for caring. And I do believe that this is what we need. I do believe that this is what we need to be able to do, because sometimes in our lives, we get carried away by the care that we think it's a normalcy for people to care about us. And we're like, man, come on, they just did what they had to do. They are friends. What are friends for? Nope. They could have done something else. They could have minded their own business. They could have lived and focused on their own life, but they decided to focus on your own life. They may have had better things that they could do, but I can guarantee you, I'm grateful for those people who send me messages on inbox, messenger, on WhatsApp. Those who even called me. I spoke for someone for 2 hours who had no business calling me, just called me to check on how I was doing. And someone even, let me share with you something that I haven't shared with anyone. Something that just happened 2 days ago. Florence was the best thing that happened. Why? Because as Florence was coming, knocking on my door for a date, a friend of mine called me. I didn't pick up her call. In fact, I didn't pick up the call of anyone that called me on Thursday. And then she messaged me and told me, hey, why don't you pick up my call? Come on, pick up my call, please. Do pick up my call. I really want to tell you something very important. On Friday, I called her. And that's the moment when she told me something I had not thought about, because I sincerely believed that on Thursday, hey, if I have to die, let me die alone. I was born alone. Let me die alone. It makes sense, right? No, it doesn't. We live in a society where people care about you. She took up the phone and she said, Adrien, you can't just be caring about yourself, because people do care about you. And if you pass away, you can't just be thinking that you're passing away for you, because you have inspired people. In the things you have done, in the things that you say, in the things that you have achieved. Maybe there's some people that you don't even know, but you have inspired them. And by you just not picking up the call on Thursday, you give the people the impression that you have passed away. And that can actually give somebody a depression. It can make someone actually pass away. And when I realized, I was like, wait a minute, what does it mean? And then I remembered a friend of mine. Of course, I will not call her name. But her friend actually had her mom pass away a week ago. And the following week, she was told that her mom had passed away. She fell in a coma. She woke up the next day. She thought about it again. And she died. That friend of mine told me that my death mattered to others. That is the moment I realized that, hey, you don't know how valuable you are to others until this kind of Florence actually happens to you. Florence doesn't even need to happen to you. I just want you to realize that you matter to someone. And don't take your life for granted. Don't be like me. I completely did not even pick up the phone. I'm like, why? I thought I was doing myself justice by not picking up the phone and giving people like, come on, leave me. I want to have my own time. I did not pick up the phone the whole day because I did not want to speak to anyone. But then when she told me that, hey, Adrien, you should be able to care about others and actually tell them that you're okay. Even if you don't pick up the phone, at least send them a text message telling them you're okay. That will go a long way. And on that Friday, anyone who called me, I responded to them, and I can guarantee you, they told me, Adrien, you don't even need to call back. Thank you for letting us know you're alive. These are the kind of co-pilots that we need. And sometimes we underestimate them. We undervalue them. This is someone who hasn't called me for a month. But when the person does, the impact is for a lifetime. Your co-pilot mustn't be the person who's always close to you. No, it could be someone who is even far away from you that you haven't spoken with, but they really duly care about you. So I want you to remember this point, that people care more about you. In fact, your co-pilots care more about you than you care about yourself. Remember this. And don't give them a heart attack. Please, when they call you, if you can't speak to them, give them a text message telling them, hey, I can't speak to you right now. It goes a long way. Don't mess them up. Don't give them a heart attack. They don't deserve it. Imagine yourself giving a heart attack to your co-pilot, and you guys are in a plane together. What do you think is going to happen to the plane? Ooh, poop. A crash. Yes, your co-pilot is that valuable in your life. So that was the second thing that I learned from Florence. That your co-pilots even care more about you than you care about yourself. But there was something else that I learned from her. The third thing I learned. And prior to me getting to the third thing, I really want you first. The first thing I want you to do is, please do share this video with your friends. Please do share it with your friends. And just go down below and go to your groups and share it with them. Because I sincerely believe it is something that can change their life. Because this video can be the co-pilot video that they wanted to learn, that they wanted to see, that they want to be able to understand that, hey, they are your co-pilots as well. Down below, just share it. As I'm going forward, this is the third thing that I learned from Florence. As Florence came this week, I learned something very valuable. Apart from the fear that I learned, apart from the love that I learned, I also learned about living. This is something that she taught me. And please take it down. Take down this. Please write this down, please. Live every day as though it was your last. I'll repeat it again one more time. Live every day as though it was your last. And you know why? Because one day, you will be right. It will actually be your last. For sure. One of us is going to die one of these days. But what do you think was going to happen? Let me just imagine this. Imagine that God came down from heaven and he told you, my daughter, my son, today is your last day to live. So enjoy. You have up to 11:59. What will you do? Imagine that today was your last day to live. What will you do differently? Oh, I can guarantee you this is one thing that I have in my mind. Today's my last day to live. First things first, man. I'm first of all calling everybody. I'm doing Facebook Live, man. So guys, I just want to let you know I care about you. I love you all. Mom, dad, I just want to make sure that you're aware that I love you. I care about you. My brothers, I will call them, tell them that I love them. Any single person that I have dear at heart, I will call them. My whole contact list. Guys, you know what? I love you guys. I love you. I love you. I'll just be cheering. I'm MVP. Like, woo, woo, woo. When that's done, that take about 1 hour or 2 hours. That's the moment where I go to Chick-fil-A. Yeah, my man, everybody has his own thing. What's the point with you? I go to Chick-fil-A. Sit down there. Take my nuggets. 12-piece nugget. Put it down. Hey, can I have a Chick-fil-A sauce? Put it on the side. Hey, can I have some sweet tea? Like I want the half and half. Like sweet tea and lemonade. Put it there. Enjoy. Mwah, 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 mwah. I can guarantee you. In fact, on that same day, I'll do Facebook Live for the whole day. I'll have a power bank. Up like this. So hope you guys are doing great. Everything's going on well. Hope the life is good. And of course, there's one more important thing. We all know how it is now. Someone must go to church. I'm going to church. Kneel down in front of God. Man, God, let your will be done. It's already 9 o'clock. Okay, now what else can I do? I cannot go on Joker. If I go on Joker, I'll go to party. It does not mean I can just go there and die before 11:59. So, no, I'm not going to a party. So, I'm looking around. I'm like, wait, I need to go somewhere at least. So, now, I call my friends. I try to ask them, hey, what is a good place to go to? They told me that no, you have to go downtown. Downtown there's a museum that you can go to. It's really amazing. You can see a lot of amazing things in there. I'll go to the museum. Go to the Museum of Art. Go to the Museum of Science. Go to the Museum of Engineering. Go to the Museum of Planes. I'm going to see all of those places. 11 o'clock comes. Okay. I have just 59 more minutes. I'm going to die very soon. I'll make another live. Facebook Live. I said, guys, so this is my last time ever for making a Facebook Live. I'm really glad I was on this earth. I really want to say thank you for everyone who has ever been to my Facebook Live. I want to tell everyone that you should be blessed. You should stay woke. Like, you should really be always be doing the best of your life. Try to inspire the most people that you can. Because you just never know. Live every day as though it could be your last. Because tonight is my last. What would you do if today was your last day to live? What would you do differently? Because you realize that I haven't gone to the museum. I haven't gone to the Chick-fil-A. It's been a while. I haven't called my friends that I haven't called for a while. Why? Most likely because today is not my last day to live. I hope so. Just never know. I think Florence is outside. She's waiting for me. But at least I've tried to call a few people that I could have called. That I duly care about. I've told my parents, both of my parents, that I love them. Maybe Chick-fil-A is not that important. At least I can put it out of the way. Museum. Now wait. I beg. I'm from Africa. Museum is nothing. I can watch it online. I'll watch it there. But at least I've done most of the things that I believe I should have done. What are certain things that you believe that you should do? Because just imagine that living every day as though it was your last enables you to live every day at your best. So imagine you're trying to have the best version of yourself. It means that you have to be able to live every single day differently. To have at least one thing that you can say that inspired you, elevated you, was different from yesterday. And it's new today and enables you to grow. You can't grow by doing the same thing every day. You can only grow by doing a different thing every different day. Because Albert Einstein, he said it and he said it so well. If you keep on doing the same thing, you keep on getting the same result. If you do something else, you get something else. If you elevate your game, you elevate your results. If you elevate your co-pilot, you elevate your flight. And you elevate your life. So what are you doing today that you could do differently? Imagine that every single day was the end of your life, because every single day could be the end of your life. You just never know. Florence said she was going to come over for a date, but she never came. Okay, but what do you think I did? I bought a myriad of things. Drinks, food. I had never bought that kind of food before. And I'm always hungry at home. I'm like, man, I want to eat something. I have to go to the store. But immediately as Florence came, I bought every single thing I could buy. I have food. I have a lot of food right now. Like, it's a lot. It's too much. Until I cannot even eat anymore. Had it not been for Florence, I would have died of hunger. So just imagine, what is the Florence in your life? Is it a relationship that you are in and you're taking it for granted and may turn into a hurricane? Is it your education that is going on in your life that is actually taken it for granted and you're not doing your best and that could turn into a hurricane? Is it possibly your finances? Is it your education? Is it your spiritual life? Is it your economy? What part of your life, what part of your flight has some issue, has some difficulties that you believe that doing something as though it was the last day for you to do it could enable you to think differently? That's what I had to share with you today, those 3 things, and I'll recap again a little bit. And for those of you who asked me the question, someone asked me, hey Adrien, how do you do your life? Like, do you just sit down and you just speak and it just comes out? No. I have notes. I do have notes. I have bullet points or the main points that I sit down. And I ask God to inspire me. in silence, with no phone, no call, nothing, no music. And I try to think about what are those things that have happened this week. And I do believe that if you can be able to identify the things that have happened in 1 week in your life, it enables you to be more aware of every single day that you live. Because hey, if you're not aware of the things that you have done in 1 day, how do you expect to be aware of the things that you will do tomorrow that will be different from what you did before? Because if you did not know, then you keep on doing the same thing again and again and again and again and again and again, and then you get the same result. And who do you blame? God, come on. How do you keep on bringing the same kind of people in my life? Lord God, how do you continue making me fail? Oh God, how do you continue blaming God? Well, you forgot that you were living in a life doing the same thing and expecting something else. The only way for you to be able to do something else is being aware of what you do actually, right? Give me a high five. So yes, I believe in you. But now the question is, with all what I've told you, it may not be enough. Because just information alone is not what makes us different. We know what to do. We know the right thing to do. It is logical, of course. Sometimes it's not, but of course, but now we know. So now you can't say you don't know what to do and what not to do, but the question is, will you follow through? Zig Ziglar, one of the most inspirational, motivational speakers of all time, he said something that I completely agree with. He said, logic makes us think. Information I'm sharing with you, it just makes you think, But you know what makes you act? Do you know what makes you change the course of your life? It's the emotion. It's the fact that I nearly died and I'm sharing that story with you. It's the fact that you have gone through a breakthrough and you don't want to go through that breakthrough. That fear is what could drive you into doing something different. Sometimes it is care and love. It's the fact that someone can love you more than you love yourself. Someone can care about you more than you care about yourself. That makes you to realize that, hey, maybe I need to give myself a chance. Maybe I need to care about myself just a little bit. And to the point that Linda has just shared is that she's trying to make the point of Albert Einstein, where he mentioned that we're doing the same thing, expecting the same result. If you do the same thing and you expect a different result, that's called insanity. Keep on being the same person and expect to attract different people. Keep on acting the same way to your assignments, doing them before 11:59 and you're expecting to get the best grade. Keep on just following and watching YouTube videos all the days of your life and expecting to be able to produce something, to start a company, to start something different, be able to change and impact people's life. It takes you getting out of your comfort zone and doing something. Being less of a consumer and more of a producer. That's what it takes. Are you ready to go through that? I know it could be hard, and that's the reason why I'm here, because I believe that sometimes all we need is a co-pilot. If you need a co-pilot, I am telling you, man, I have driven planes with people. Like, I have co-piloted a lot. And I'm ready to co-pilot again. And it's the last ask I have of you. If you're going through something, if you're going through a Hurricane Florence in your life, and you're not aware of how it can fuel your life, you're not aware of how it can show you that people care about you, you're not aware of how you can live every day in a different way, then I can tell you that this is one thing I want you to remember. Someone, somewhere, is always there ready and prepared to be your co-pilot. All you need to do is to ask. For those of you who already know, down below, please can you write this? www.yourcharismaticleader.com. People are going through hard things, but I don't believe you have to. Please, someone put it down below, www.yourcharismaticleader.com. Because sometimes people are here, and I'm when I tell you that I'm trying to write a book, because I believe that, hey, though you may say to yourself, I'm not ready to read, I'm not sure I will read, I sincerely believe that, hey, if you haven't been reading, they say leaders are readers. I do believe that producers are also readers. And I do believe that the best way for you to change your perspective about life is by reading. Let me share with you one book, okay? Stay tuned here. This is a book I'm reading. It's called The Alchemist. Amazing book. This book was written by someone who wrote about 25 years ago. 25 years ago, he wrote this book. In the first week of buying the book, just one person bought the book. The second week, one person bought the book. The person who helped him to produce that book, they gave up on the contract. They said, no more. We are not with you anymore. Forget it. About 20 years later, another person took that book. Another person took that book. 20 years later. I'm like, wait a minute. Man, you're not giving up. Another person took that book and told him, let me give you a chance. Can you imagine? This book is an international bestseller. I'm not saying national. Get me right. International bestseller. Paulo Coelho. He wrote that book 25 years ago. That guy is dead. He's in Brazil. He's from Brazil. So just think about, like, why should people be reading a book that was written 25 years ago and it still makes sense? That guy did not give up. And those of you who ask me the question, hey Adrien, what is the thing of your charismatic leader? Let me tell you where this thing is from. From here. The charisma myth. It is one thing I've realized that the African society, the African community actually needs is reading books. I don't believe that's the only thing. In fact, that's the main thing. Knowledge. That's the main thing that can change your lives. That give books to your kids to read. And I can guarantee you that the books will enlighten their minds. It will break the circle we are in. We don't read books, man. The only books we ever read were exercise books. Exercise, workbook. It was school-oriented books. I don't remember the books that I read when I was a kid. And I saw these high school kids. They read multiple books. In fact, their parents gave them books. They read them lullabies. When I was a kid, I didn't have no lullaby. Nonetheless, actually, I got to know about lullaby name here in America. I didn't know there was something like lullaby. Maybe things have changed since I was back in Africa 5 years ago. But I do believe that we who are here can be able to become better. Just take one book and read. Just one. Not many. Just one. Let me read some of the comments. Linda says, very true. You want change? Read books. I want to thank Martha, Mona, and Marlene for sharing the link. And then Linda also mentioned the books you read, the people you hang out with, those things you confess, they shape your future. Thank you for agreeing to Valiant, as well as Mona. Thank you for having been in this life, and I want to guarantee you, I'm trying to figure out a way to be able to make the books a little bit masticatable in such a way that some people just look at this book and they're like, man, look at this. Look at this. Just by looking at this, man, your brain can break. You're like, man, this is too big. Look at all these pages. Who can read this thing, Adrien? I cannot even get started. I'm trying to think about a way that I can possibly make maybe a Facebook Live on these books. Because I do understand that we come from very far away when we don't read books. You can't just expect people to live from sitting down to running. You can't just live from sitting down to running. Sometimes I think there's a likelihood that it's important to be able to sit down, stand up, walk a little bit, and then possibly start a little bit of jogging, and then you can start running. So I'm trying to help you all through this process. And that's the reason why I do all these Facebook Lives, because I believe that the change in mindset can bring a change in your life. And sometimes you need Florence to come around to be able to make you believe in that. And I want to share some of the comments that Linda has shared. She says, somebody once said, if you want to hide a secret from a black man, just put it in a book and he will never find it. That person is also right. Adrien, please post the title of the book that you addressed. So let me just do that right away. And while I'm doing that, please, on your own end, please do share the link with your groups. I know that you have many groups that you're part of. I beg, do not hesitate. The first book that I'm sharing here is called The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I've just shared it down below. And the second book I'm going to be sharing is called The Charisma Myth. There's something that shaped my thought of that charisma. I was like, wow, so this thing can be learned too. And just to give you a little bit of feedback about what charisma really is, it's about what makes you really the person that is liked in the room or not. That when you get around people, they don't want to let you go. They want to hold on to you. They're like, man, I like this guy. Damn, I want to be with this guy. I just want to be able to be around him. I just want to be able to talk to him. I just want to be able to have him around me, listening to what he's saying. It just makes me feel right because this person is so empathetic. This person is so likable. If you ever want to have that kind of a character where people can't seem to want to let down on you, people just care more about you, people just understand you. The Charisma Myth, an amazing book. With that being shared, and with that being said, I want you to keep this in mind. As we are ending this video, I want you to be able to realize that you have stayed in this life from the beginning to the end. You have decided to invest. You did not spend. You invested 30 minutes of your life in listening to something that you couldn't have listened from somewhere else. Don't you believe it's worth sharing? You spent 30 minutes of your life invested. Don't you believe that you can plant that seed in another person? Because someone else, somewhere, somehow is waiting for this information. Someone, somewhere else is waiting for them to be inspired, so they can become your co-pilots. I had people ask me the question, hey Adrien, how can I grow my co-pilot community? I said community, right? I didn't say co-pilot one person. Because we have many flights. So we have many co-pilots in each of those flights. And the best way to influence your co-pilot community is by what you produce on Facebook. What is the content that you share? Not just the content you consume. Because the content you consume helps you to grow. The content you produce helps them to grow. Let me repeat this again. The content you consume helps you to grow. The content you produce helps your co-pilot to grow. With that being said, who is your Florence? What is your Florence? I'm here every single Sunday until I die. So I will live every single Sunday as though it was my last Sunday and make the most of it by sharing the most I can. And remember, number one, fear can fuel your life. Number two, people care more about you than you care about yourself, especially your co-pilots. And number three, live every single day as though it was your last. And most importantly as well, watch every single life as though it was your last. Because one day, you will be right. It will be your last. My name is Mr. Adrien Feujdio, your charismatic leader to inspire you, to motivate you, and to make you become the best version of yourself. I believe in you. Do you believe in yourself? Have a blessed Sunday. Remember, who or what is your Florence?